Hello there. So you're here to find out about how things move? Perfect, nice, short and simple, let's get into it. So everything that moves is governed by something called the laws of motion. And these laws were discovered by this person right here, Isaac Newton, in the late 1600s. And what they do is they describe how things move and interact with each other on Earth and more or less in our solar system. So there are 3 laws that govern how things move and interact on Earth. Law 1. An object in motion will stay in motion unless an unbalanced force acts upon it. This is the idea of inertia, which basically means anything that's moving wants to stay moving until something acts on it to slow it down or to stop it. So for example, if I have this ball and I throw it up, the ball is going to come back down. Now the reason why it's going to come back down is because of the air resistance slowing it down, but more importantly, the gravitational force from Earth, we'll call it a force for now, bringing it back down to my hand. Without those forces, the ball would just continue to go. Now let's say for some reason you wanted to figure out how much force is actually acting on something when you drop it or throw it. Well, that's the second law. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. And what this means is that you can actually figure out the value, the numerical value, the number value of how much force is acting on an object. Now what this means is that the force of an object, that numerical value, is equal to the mass of the object, so how much matter is inside it, multiplied by the acceleration it's experiencing. And that brings us on to law 3. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, which is kind of good advice for life. Like if you do something, there are going to be consequences or other things involved. But let's get back to the laws of motion. What this means is that there's a reaction to every action taken. So for me kicking that ball, the action is me kicking it and the reaction is the ball moving. Another example with this is an aeroplane. The action of the engine spinning and creating thrust causes the reaction of the plane to roll forward and the air to go over the wing. Now the action of the air going over the wing gives the reaction of generating lift. That's how the aeroplane flies. In a car, for example, regardless if it's internal combustion engine or not, the action of pushing the accelerator has the reaction of turning the wheels. Now the action of turning the wheels, and thus the tyres, which are the grippy parts of the car, has the reaction of the tyres gripping to the road and rolling forward. Now, one thing. We noted that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Now I'm going to use these 2 balls to explain that. This ball is much larger than this ball, and this ball has a lot more mass, which means it's heavier than this ball. Now, what happens is these 2 balls are actually equally attracted towards each other, but they're not attracted to the center where my head is, like that. They're attracted to a point called the center of mass. And the center of mass is a point between both objects where the mass is equal to each other. So for example, if I jump right now and I land back down on Earth, the Earth isn't coming up to meet me at the same speed, but rather we're both being attracted to the center of mass, which is very close to the core of the Earth because the Earth is a lot more massive than me. Now those are the 3 laws of motion, which are how things move. Check the description for more information if you're interested, as well as the sources that we've used, and thanks for watching.